Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Alan and Angie Thomas from Rethink Dieting, and we've got one of our Rethink Dieting, what we call rethinkers, one of our superstars, Mr. Keith Schoolcraft. Keith, tell everybody where you're hailing from. You're from way above North Florida, where we are. So
yeah, we're up north here in Minnesota.
yeah, just a little north of us. So, although your weather's been warmer than ours some days the last couple of weeks.
But it's about to change.
So we just want to come to you guys and really just kind of share Keith's stories. He's had amazing progress in the Rethink Dieting program. He's been an amazing client to work with, but we always ask kind of three main questions. And the first one I'm going to throw at you, Angie and I are going to throw at you, is first, what was it like before Rethink Dieting? Like, what's been going on? What was going on in your life that, kind of led to that point?
Well, I think everybody who has struggled with their weight is always looking for something. And so me having a kind of an engineering type background, I was doing a lot of research, and that can be good and bad. The bad part of it is you can get overwhelmed with the amount of information, because there is mountains and mountains and mountains of information, and so I was getting a little bit actually overwhelmed with what direction to even kind of go in.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. And it is. And it's so interesting. You dropped, you mind saying how much you dropped in the last, I guess it's been about 9-10 weeks, something like that.
Yeah. 25 pounds.
25 pounds. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. So 25 pounds. And how many times did Angie or I tell you what to eat?
None. Zero.
How many times did we tell you what exercises to do?
Zero.
That's it. Yeah. And people are always kind of surprised by that, but it's so interesting, with the struggle we went through, no different than your struggle with it. You struggle until you don't, and it's always the thinking that really does change what's going on. So kind of give people a sense of, what it's been like getting this certainty up that you're bringing this weight all the way down.
Rephrase your question for me.
Well, what I'm asking is what's it been like going through the last 8 to 10 weeks for you?
Sure. It's a journey, right? I think there's a part of it is a discovery process. A lot of it is self-discovery. I think kind of digging back into, the almost who you are in a lot of respects. So this is more than just this is not really a diet program. I would call it more of a life program.
Yeah, and it is. And I mean, and you've shown up. I mean, so many people that we run into, I mean, they're looking for the magic pill. And my standing agreement with everybody that I speak with is looking for it. If they find it, please send me a box and a case. I'll pay you double for the because they don't exist. And it is so interesting when we stop arguing with the reality of the situation and start diving into what really reality. Just like you've had a ton of success. You've got a successful marriage, family, you've raised amazing kids, you've got a great business, and it's so interesting how you treated this like the same thing, and now the results start happening. Go figure.
Yeah. No, there was a lot of parallels that I was able to apply, and make connections between other areas of my life, and both personal and professional, and that's why I kind of made the comment. It's more than it's just much more holistic.
Yeah. And I know, and I remember our first conversation that, you talk, I mean, and this kind of goes into the future a little bit, but like, why do it now? I guess why now? I mean, this has been, there's lots of people that struggle with their weight. There's no shame in it anymore. It's just kind of a common thing. But why at this station in your life? Because you're not 18 years old anymore. You're slightly over. Me neither. I'm just envious, but I'm not. We're not. But at the end of the day, why do it now? I mean, what was the driving factor?
For me, it was several. I think when the everybody talks about when you hit 40, that you start thinking about life and where you're going and whatnot. And that happened to me to a degree, but now that I'm more approaching closer to 50, you start thinking about that a lot more, and the impact that you want to have, the what do you want to do with the latter half, right, of your life. And so, I guess if you don't start making some choices to change, it's kind of pretty well. I mean, it's no mystery, my chances of living to 100 are pretty slim right now. If I were to not make changes, right? And there are things that have sparked interest that I know I won't be able to. I want to try and do them as long as I can. I got my private pilot's license a year ago, and one of the things I'd love to do is lifeline flights. And part of lifeline flights in aviation is in general aviation, you're always thinking about useful load, and that's how much weight you can carry in the aircraft. And I said to myself, I was like, I'm almost carrying I'm carrying another person, another kid, or another, like weight wise, right? And that would make a major difference in useful load. I also had an uncle that died in his 60s, and he was overweight, and the family that has not been overweight or kept their weight off the longest has lived the longest. So there's that starts to get you to think when you start reaching those ages that you've had family pass away, that really makes you start to think, and then there's the practical, like, hey, walking my daughter down the aisle, right, and not letting somebody else do it. I went to a friend's wedding where his parents weren't there, and I was talking to him about it yesterday, actually, and that's you don't usually get to hear how it affects them, and I know that was something that he wished could have been different,
Yeah.
So those are, I don't know if those are not enough reasons to start making changes in one's life. I mean, those are my reasons. I think everybody probably has their own, but that was sort of my thought process and the catalyst of things that not only were going on, but I still think about today, right? And that keeps me motivated to kind of, because it's a journey, right? It's not an easy journey. There's temptations around you constantly. There's no shortage of food. Oh my gosh, right? Like, I mean, and you can't just stop food. I mean, it's and then with business, there's always outings and things and events to go to, and they always have food there, right? I mean, it's just always a thing. So it can be overwhelming when that's something that you have a harder time saying no to.
Yeah, no doubt. You got a question, I think.
Well, Keith, please share with us what your family's saying or thinking about your journey right now.
Yeah, so my wife has watched me, try a lot of different things, and she's never said this before. She said, "This is it. This is the one." She's no doubt, like, it wasn't, and it was a comment. I hadn't even asked her. It was a comment that she made, so that was really interesting to me, because she was seeing obviously something different, about how I'm approaching it this time.
Yeah.
That's
The
so
last
unique.
time.
Oh yeah.
The last time. And that's no, I love that. That is. And because we think about, like it doesn't affect our family, and you were talking about that, but it affects everybody. And we get and it's so easy to get the deer in the headlights look, where we just freeze because, do we do high carb? Do we do low carb? Do we do vegan? Do we do this? Do we do that? No, you just do it. And that's
right.
what I mean, and that's and people get really upset with me sometimes. Not I'm talking about who aren't in the program, but that's it. And then the way you've shown up too, Keith. I mean, it's neat to see how you've encouraged other people on their journey too. Because we have a group setting, private, the Rethink program. There's connection in there, and how you've shown up and encouraged other people and been that example. I mean, that really is it. Because showing up's, man, it's like those life flights. If you don't show up for them, that child or that individual is not making it to that hospital, and so you've got an appointment with destiny. It sounds like, and that's pretty cool. As all of us do at some level. That's great.
One comment on your previous thing about family. I think the biggest lie we tell ourselves, I know that I told myself, is that it doesn't affect your family, it absolutely does. You're just not seeing it.
Yeah. Exactly. What other things have you seen happen? I mean, and it's so many people just get so hung up on that everything good is going to happen when they get to their ideal weight, and we certainly want that to happen. And I know that's happening for you, but along the journey, I mean, have you seen anything that you would say might not have happened if you had? And again, these are off the cuff questions. These aren't planned, so I don't know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
Has anything really cool happened that you weren't expecting, other than what your wife said? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, just more. This is maybe more on a personal level, but just being overweight literally slows you down. And you can't walk as fast as other people. You're just, throw an extra couple 100 pounds on your back and see how fast you can go. So even with, the beginning here, this first, 25, I've noticed that I can do more, and just my stamina's up, things like that. An oddity, like I feel my skin loosen my fingers,
Isn't that cool?
which it's not something most people. I didn't expect to experience that, but it and it's a reminder, like just feeling my fingers is a reminder every day that to stay on course.
Yeah, no, you're going to have discoveries. Not many people know this story, but when I dropped my 129, I went to the doctor because there was this bone protruding in my right underneath the top of my rib cage, and the doctor said it's always been there. You just couldn't find it. It's normal. I'm like, oh, I thought I'd broken something, or he said no, that's now. He said welcome to normal. So so that's so cool. So what's the future look like? I know you still got some journey to go. You're not done. And so talk about the future. Talk about what the dreams are. What's the dream? I know you mentioned the life flights, but what else? What else is where are you headed?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big motivator for me. Just to continue that part of my life and explore aviation further, be able to use it, with my business to go see employees, clients, and things like that. And even just on the fun side, give people rides. So I look forward to that. Doing. My son's going to be going to college soon. Being able to bring him fly back and forth with some luggage, and not just not have to say, oh, we can't bring that because we're at our useful load. But
Now, what do you
so
call it? Say that again, because not
it's called
everybody.
the useful load. So it's how much.
Okay, explain that.
Yeah, it's literally calculated in pounds, right? So it's how many pounds can the airplane take, and what most people don't know is that includes your gas. So if you put 500 pounds of aviation fuel in the airplane, and the plane has 1,000 pounds of useful load, well, you just used up half of your useful load with fuel. Then the remaining 500 pounds is people and baggage. Well, it doesn't take up much, and if you're over 300, now all of a sudden you're taking up most of the remaining,
Wow.
useful load. So it becomes really practical, really fast, in that there are things you can fly with half fuel, but then you have to fly a shorter flight, right?
Yeah.
So it's always safer to have as much fuel as possible.
Yeah,
as you can in the
for
airplane.
sure. Right, I prefer that too. No unexpected landings. That's it. That's unscheduled. So what would you say to somebody? I know you're going to hunt, and I asked your permission to say your weight, where you're headed to, 175 pounds. And I mean, the average person will look, come on, Keith. I mean, come on. You've been battling this for decades. There's no way. There's, plenty of people that are overweight. Don't worry about it. I mean, what would you say to somebody that says, I just really can't buy that you're going to make 175?
Well, they didn't buy that we were going to go to the moon either. So, but that didn't stop determination. And, people can say whatever they want, but it's my life and I'm going there.
There you go. So what would you say?
Watch me.
There you go. The watch me words. Yeah. That's what I was hoping for. So that's awesome. Well, congratulations. And we're going to have you back too, because it's a journey. I mean, we're going to beg you to come back on here. It is a journey. And for those of you that are watching, they're saying, well, how's he dropping all this weight without a diet plan? Listen, folks, you already know what to eat. Come on. You know what to eat. I mean, do you know that did Keith have to change what he's eating? Of course he did. Did he have to use some discretion when he's been on his business trips and he left? I know he left a piece of Wagyu steak on a plate. I'm like, Wagyu, really? Because my belief is that Wagyu is a vegetable, and especially ribeye. But at the end of the day, you've got to make changes. You've got to do those things. But if those haven't worked for you, then check out the same thing that Keith did. Keith checked out this training. Go to rethinkdieting.com. You watch the 5-step strategy Angie and myself used to lose 192 pounds in 260 days, and how we show our clients to do it. Even if they travel, even if they're pilots, even if they struggled their entire life, you can do this. Be hopeful. And then you can hop on what we call a breakthrough call, where we'll get really clear on your problem, just like we did with Keith and all of our other clients, your commitment to solve it. And if we think we can help you, that's transformmyfuture.com. And we're going to have Keith back here again. So, and we got a nice little airport about a few miles from the house on Amelia Island. So we'll fly this next one. You can pick us up. So, nice. But thank you so much for being here, Keith. And thank you guys for watching. And remember that it's not a diet, it's a decision. So God bless.